Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 8:55 a.m. and you're watching Aurora Weather here on Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Monday the 11th. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day, a positive and blessed morning. We have a lot to discuss today and another great interview. So as you can see on the screen behind me, I know what you're thinking. Curtis, does that really say a fire hazard given how cold it's been? Yes, it does. Let's talk about the elevated fire danger that we can expect today going forward. Once again, this weather comes from the National Weather Service of Chicago, delivered to you here on Aurora Weather on Good Morning Aurora. So what to expect? Wind gusts of up to 30 to 35 miles per hour from the southwest this afternoon. And any grass or brush fires that ignite will likely become difficult to control. Now, that's the first humdinger that we can expect. Now, we've told you many other times that there's a particular name for that really dry, fine grass. It's called kindling. Kindling sparks and does become those problematic fires. So here's the fire danger threat right here. Now, today we can expect a moderate threat, a level 3 of 5. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. Now, what should you do? I'm glad that you asked. You should exercise extreme caution with outdoor burning, open flames, and when disposing of smoking materials. So, we're all familiar with some of those stories that are anecdotal of the proverbial cigarette. It's just thrown carelessly and the fire starts. Please be aware of that. Those dry grasses can lead to a fire. So, next, we will move on with our fantastic forecast. Ooh, look at that. I know what you guys are thinking. Curtis, look at all that sun. I don't see many clouds. Hold on. We'll get there. Today, daytime high of 68 degrees with a daytime low of 61 degrees. Elevated fire danger as well today. An overwhelmingly sunny day, a windy day as well. Tonight, nighttime high of 46 degrees with a nighttime low of 40 degrees. A rather clear night, wispy clouds. Those wispy clouds will bring us into tomorrow. 71 degrees for the daytime high, 67 degrees for the daytime low. The breezy conditions continue. So do the wispy clouds, overwhelmingly sunny as well. Going into Tuesday night, 48 degrees for the nighttime high, 42 degrees for the nighttime low. There is a chance of thunderstorms and rain tomorrow night. Now, going into Wednesday, as we can see here, 60 degrees for the daytime high, 55 degrees for the daytime low. A mostly sunny day, but there will be some clouds and a 20% chance of rain tomorrow. Going into tomorrow night, however, look at that. 52 degrees for the nighttime high, 40 degrees for the nighttime low, and more storms as well. An elevated potential for storms, 70%. That sounds likely. Be ready for that. Or be in the house. I mean, I don't know who's going to be out in a thunderstorm at night, but you know. Thursday, 65 degrees for the daytime high, 50 degrees for the daytime low. What do we notice on Thursday? Not a lot of sun during the daytime. Thunderstorms, rain, and lightning is going to happen on Thursday. Please be aware of that. Also, breezy conditions will continue on Thursday as well. Now, as we get into Thursday night, 41 degrees for the nighttime high, 34 degrees for the nighttime low. The rain, thunderstorms, and lightning do continue on to Thursday night. So let's pause real quick. So what do we notice, guys? Tuesday night now. See this? Tuesday night's where it begins. The Tuesday night thunderstorms will stay with us and persist all the way to Thursday night. Now, moving into Friday, 53 degrees for the daytime high on Friday, 44 degrees for the daytime low on Friday. An overwhelmingly sunny day on Friday. There will be some clouds in the sky, though, as well when we get into Friday night. 39 degrees for the nighttime high and 34 degrees for the nighttime low on Friday night. Let's recap. 68 degrees today for the daytime high, 61 degrees for the daytime low. And actually, that reminds me to let all of you beautiful listeners know that if you are barbecuing, save a brother a plate. Tomorrow, 71 degrees for the daytime high and 67 degrees for the daytime low. Breezy conditions, a very sunny day tomorrow. 60 degrees on Wednesday, 55 degrees for the daytime low on Wednesday as well. That cloud cover on Wednesday, don't forget, brings us into an even overwhelmingly more cloudy day, thundery day, lightning-y day. I just made that word up. On Thursday. 65 degrees for the daytime high on Thursday, 50 degrees for the daytime low. Friday, 53 degrees for the daytime high and 44 degrees for the daytime low. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your weather report here on Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We have a fantastic show for you guys today. Our guests are Caroline Rosso and Gina Grammaroso of the Northern Illinois Food Bank and Aurora Bank and Trust. Get ready for a great show. Catch you on the flip side. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 9 a.m. and you are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Monday, the 11th of March. Happy Monday to all of you great folks. We have a fantastic show and discussion for you today. My guests are Caroline Rosso and Gina Grammaroso of the Northern Illinois Food Bank and Aurora Bank and Trust. How are you ladies doing today?
Great.
Excellent.
Good morning.
Good
So
morning
happy
to you
to
as
be
well.
here.
Happy to have you guys here. So I've been familiar with the Northern Illinois Food Bank. I've become more familiar with the Aurora Bank and Trust, as we talked about. But since we're here, we're going to be learning all about the food bank today and everything that you ladies or that the food bank has been doing. So to get started, Gina, let us know about the food bank and your involvement. How did you become involved with the Northern Illinois Food Bank?
Sure. I have been with the food bank for going on 10 years now.
Okay.
And when I started at the food bank, I knew nothing about food banking or food insecurity, especially in our community. But let me just, if you'd like, I'll just tell you a little bit about the food bank.
Absolutely.
We are part of the Feeding America network of 200 food banks throughout the country. And the Northern Illinois Food Bank covers 13 counties, everything outside of Cook County up to Wisconsin, out past Rockford into Stevenson, Ogle, and Boone County.
Oh, wow.
And then we sweep down into Grundy and Will and Kankakee County. So very diverse area, but right smack in the middle of it is Aurora. So we are located in Kane County in Geneva. That's our main facility. And then we have centers in Lake Forest, Rockford, and Joliet.
And there's also another location that folks may be familiar with, and that's in Naperville. Is that were there two new locations?
That you may be thinking of Loaves and Fishes.
Oh,
which is one
excuse
of,
me.
That's okay. That's one of our food pantries, and that helps me kind of clarify how we get the food out.
Okay.
We cover 13 counties, but within those 13 counties, we have about 900 feeding programs. And about 400 of those are food pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters.
Okay.
And so right here in Aurora, we have about 45 partners, food pantries, and sites where we deliver food.
All right. Food insecurity is very big, and I think that a lot of people haven't been familiar with the impact that it has had until the pandemic. I think for a lot of people, if they weren't food insecure already, the pandemic certainly exacerbated that. And for a lot of people who didn't know anything about it, they saw the impact that was being had. How have things changed because of the pandemic with the Northern Illinois Food Bank?
Curtis, it's really, we're at a time where there's a tremendous need for food in our community. We're serving on average about 560,000 neighbors every month.
Oh my goodness.
And that's an increase of 85,000 neighbors from this time last year. And you mentioned the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, we were serving about half that many neighbors.
Wow.
Now, when the pandemic hit, one of the good things that came out of the pandemic is I feel like food, neighbors seeking help became very normalized. And that's what we're working very hard to do, to remove the stigma of anybody needing help.
Right.
We say all the time, everybody can give a little help or they might need a little help.
Right.
And we're working very hard right now to help normalize that for everybody in our community.
Yeah, you mentioned the stigma, and unfortunately, a lot of the listeners know that there is and there has been a stigma attached to that. I mean, people, and I find that very heartbreaking. People ashamed to reach out for help because of what somebody may think about them or say about them. And we should. I'm happy to live in a community with the Northern Illinois Food Bank and the access. And yeah, I want people to understand that like if you are hurting or if you're down, you need to come up, and we should be able to. We want to help you without judgment and things like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
What is the history of the Northern Illinois Food Bank? How did it all begin? How did we become blessed with such
a
great
story.
organization?
It's a really good story.
It is a great story.
Time is 9:07.
It was started by a woman, by a nun, and her name was Sister Rosemarie Burian. It started 41 years ago. She woke up and had a vision that there were people in our community that were hungry, and she realized that there wasn't any way for people to get food at that time.
Right.
So she set out to do this amazing thing. And as she was going to Kiwanis clubs or other community groups, other service clubs, she was met with some, we don't need that.
Right.
And she just persevered and continued. And so it started and has grown to what we have today, which is amazing.
Amazing. We don't need that. It's always people who have something, who aren't worried about what they may need. It's interesting how that happens, but also too, women, and especially in a lot of instances within the church, have produced a lot of things in society that a lot of people don't know about. So whenever there is that need, it is good to have somebody who will just step up and fulfill it. Let's say, hey, this is what we need to be doing. But you mentioned that there was pushback, but that pushback seems to not have stopped, Sister Rosemarie.
It did not. And what is so inspiring about the whole story is that from the very start, there were volunteers. Mm-hmm. And volunteers, like Carolyn, are really at the center of everything that we do. Okay. Actually, our neighbors are at the center of everything we do, but surrounding that is this amazing group of volunteers. Last year, we had over 20,000 individuals that came to one of our 4 centers to volunteer. And the equivalent of that time that they donated is the equivalent of 65 full-time staff.
Wow.
So we cannot do what we do without volunteers, and also without the support of our community.
Right.
In terms of the donated food, the financial contributions, and the contributions from groups like the Executive Women's Council that Caroline's on. Okay,
the Executive Women's Council. Hold on, let me write that down. Got to follow up on that. Executive Women's Council. Caroline, tell us about your involvement. It's as a volunteer?
Yes, okay. Absolutely. So multifaceted ways that I become involved. I was counting it up, and I think this is going to be my 7th year.
Oh, wonderful.
And so primarily was introduced to the food bank through Northern Illinois Food Bank's Executive Women's Council. Okay. And so it's a group of about 20 to 25 professional women throughout our service area. And we came together This was our 9th main event where we hold a Cup of Hope tea, Sunday tea, to raise awareness and lots of funds. At the same time, providing a great event where ladies get together. This year we had nearly 500 individuals attend. Our host was Judy Sue of ABC 7, and raised. Yeah, she is even more fabulous in person. I can't say enough about her, but she became involved in our board a couple of years ago and has been so generous to donate her time. And that was her second year emceeing our event, and just made it excellent. So
that's wonderful.
We raised over $200,000, and a really neat thing about the food bank that is so impressive is they can generally turn about every dollar into about $8 worth of groceries for our neighbors.
That's
so
amazing.
The impact is incredible.
Yeah, so here's what I'm seeing, and here's what I like, and I know the folks will also concur with this, is that I can recall where volunteers were primarily people who had retired, who had time on their hands, decided, you know what the heck, on a Sunday for a couple hours I'll go do the thing. That's different now. What I'm hearing and seeing is that working professionals are also volunteering. That's strong, because when the continuity is ongoing, when you don't have to stop who you are and your resources and your skills, you bring those to the table, and it's an ongoing thing. That makes the organization powerful. It makes people feel good, and I feel like a lot more gets done in that way.
I couldn't agree more. So great observation, Curtis. In addition to working professionals, there's also a big youth impact. So the Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley, which has a big office here in Aurora, they have a YEP program, they call it, where they develop youth volunteers and philanthropic ideas with students, and they actually participated in our event this year as well. So another thing that I absolutely love about the Northern Illinois Food Bank, like Gina said, just how many partnerships there are. So Marie Wilkinson, Aurora Interfaith Food Pantry, lots of connections to Aurora, and again, ages, students up to retirees. Everybody's getting involved.
Yeah. So that's interesting. The YEP program is fantastic. Youth Engagement in Philanthropy. You guys have seen them on the show before. I want to say shout out to Vicky Marcos and the whole team over there. We love you guys. So in Aurora right now, 560,000 people per month are being fed. Before the pandemic, it was half of that. Are we able to tell what areas of Aurora are struggling or dealing with insecurity the most?
Well, I would say we never know. I mean, hunger is everywhere.
Sure, absolutely.
And we do several things here in Aurora. In fact, one of the programs I wanted to tell the viewers about is our Meals on the Move program.
Okay.
It's a summer meals for kids program. It starts June 3rd, and we visit 4 parks daily, Monday through Friday. And those parks are McCarty, Phillips, Garfield, and William Plum.
Okay.
And we're there from 11:30 to 1. Okay. And anybody can come and get a lunch. It's really designed to capture families while they're out enjoying, a summer day. And even if the weather isn't great, we will still be there, and they can come pick up a lunch and bring it home if they need to enjoy that. But we serve about 7,800 meals per day throughout the summer throughout our whole 13 counties. And at Meals on the Move, we served 4,000 lunches last year.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And actually, I recall that. I recall seeing the flyers for that.
Good.
That was in our news.
Okay.
Back when, way back. You guys know, way back. But I do recall that because I live by McCarty Park.
Okay.
I live by McCarty Park, so I'm familiar with that. Now, the meals also have a balanced, nutritious. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The food bank really strives to provide the most highly nutritious food that we can.
Okay.
In fact, about 28% of the food we're distributing right now is fresh produce. And we really aim to continue to increase that as much as we can. It's the number one most requested food by our neighbors is fresh produce. And beyond that, about 17% of the food we distribute is protein, about 12% dairy, and the rest shelf-stable foods.
Yeah. Produce is important, very important. At one point in time in my life, I lived what's been known nowadays as a food desert. And when I was growing up, I didn't know what that really was. But it was when you have a plethora of fast food and everything, and there's a gyro here, and you can get a this and a chicken sandwich here. Where's the grocery store? How far do you got to go to get potatoes?
Right.
Where's the bag of lemons? None of that. That was way on North Avenue.
Right.
So that has a big impact on your health, your wellness, overall, in so many aspects of your life. And so I'm glad to hear that fresh produce is the number one requested thing, because that shows that people understand that and they really care about their health. That's good to see. That is good to see.
And Curtis, you mentioned a food desert, and what our network of programs strives to do, like I said, we have close to 400, probably about 300 to 350 pantries.
Okay.
And we really strive at those pantries to make that like a grocery store, so that it's very normal, just like when we all shop. And we want neighbors to have choice, so they can choose the foods that they want for their family, the foods they know their family will eat, and what they need to thrive. And beyond that, we know that, like you said, there are food deserts. And so we have a program called our mobile market program. And that is where we put about 8,000 pounds of food on a truck. And we take it to community centers, parks, faith organizations, and have a distribution.
Wonderful.
And anybody can come to that distribution. There's no ID needed, no information taken. The only thing we'll ask is what's your zip code, and how many people live at that zip code with you, because we track how many neighbors we're serving and where that food's going to make sure that we're getting it to the places where we need it most.
So if I am hold on. That just gave me an idea that is so great right now. So if let's say I work for the Neighbor Project, and we have a location, we have our main office in downtown. How can we be a location for that? We can be a location for that.
I can put you in touch with somebody on our team,
okay,
that will talk to you about that, and we'd love to partner.
All right, we'll follow up. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? Just that easy. Yeah, I'll follow up on that, because wraparound services, and the time is 9:18 a.m. And this is just my wraparound services is another thing that I think should be included in everything that we're planning about, because we work with folks, for example, with IDA. That's eligibility based. So it's very, if you are not eligible, you will not receive said service. However, everything else that you're going through, what about that? And traditionally, I've not been able to hand people off in any fashion to help address their other things. So I would be happy, that would be so great if we could address the needs of our neighbors in more ways than one, than just with housing or whatever we're doing that day.
Absolutely. And what I would suggest to anybody that's watching this show, or anybody that you talk to that you think might be able to benefit from our services, to visit our website.
Okay.
It's solvehungertoday.org. And when they go to that website, they'll see up in the upper right-hand corner that we have different languages available. So if somebody is Spanish speaking, they'll be able to access our website in their language, which is wonderful. And the other thing you can do is put your zip code in and see all of the distributions that are going to be near you, whether it's a pantry, whether it's a backpack site, whether it's a mobile market, like I mentioned. We do at least one mobile every month here in Aurora. I'm sure we do more than that, but you can check that from our website.
Okay.
And there's a button you can click that says Give Help, or it says Get Help, or Find Food. And then you can go and find where those distributions are.
Wonderful. And you distribute and work with the Aurora Interfaith Food Pantry.
Correct.
Correct. We have a lot of friends that work there. Jesse Perez is one of them. So shout out and good morning to you as well. Now, it is Women's History Month, so I do want to ask a couple more questions about the Executive Women's Council. Great work being done. Now, how is that open for members or
Yes.
anyone interested in that?
Yes, please have them reach out to me. Love to talk to them. We would really love to have some individuals from Aurora.
Okay.
I don't know that we have anyone on the council who's kind of representing Aurora besides myself. Happy to do that, but I would love to have some more of the community members involved. So, council, it's a great council. With 25 of us, it works really well. We understand in the professional fields that people's time available will sometimes fluctuate, and so we work together really well, and always looking for more members that are passionate about this. And one of the other programs that Gina mentioned real quickly that the council is very involved in is childhood hunger and the backpack program. So that's just such an excellent program where students are identified in the school district and then they go home with a backpack of meals for the weekend. So again, the council very focused on that and love to have members join. So
That's awesome, the backpack program. 9:21 is the time. Good morning to all of you great folks out there. We are here with the Northern Illinois Food Bank and Aurora Bank and Trust, our friends Gina Grammaroso and Carolyn Rosso as well. Okay, what's the future look like for the Northern Illinois Food Bank? What's the activities and everything we're doing look like for the next 5 years?
Well, a lot of people will tell me all the time, I'd love if you would go out of business. We would love to see no one hungry.
Right.
And we know that everybody faces different challenges in different times of their lives. And so we're going to be here for many, many years to come. And we know that, doing things like this, getting the word out is what's so important so that people not only know how they can get involved, but also know where they can get help.
Right.
And speaking about getting involved, I just love to share with your viewers that we're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for participants in our upcoming events. And Caroline talked about Cup of Hope. That was just recently. But coming up, we have our 5K, Fight Hunger 5K.
Okay.
And that's on April 27th in Oak Brook. We are going to be doing it in a new location this year. It's the old headquarters for McDonald's. And so that's where the race is going to be. And it's going to be a really fun family event with lots of activities. So bring your kids, your grandkids, make a day of it.
Okay.
And then beyond that, we have a Taste That Matters on May 23rd. And if you're a golfer, we would love for you to join us at our Hunger Scramble. And that's on August 19th. And just not too far from here at White Eagle.
Oh, yeah, not too far at all.
Yeah.
Not too far at all. Tell me about Taste That Matters.
A Taste That Matters is an event that is sponsored and such a great partner is Jewel Osco. Okay. And we've done this program for a number of years, and we have different restaurants that provide tastings.
Okay.
So it's at Drury Lane in Oak Brook Terrace, and there will be lots of restaurants around with tables around the room, and you come in and you just have tastings.
Oh, man.
We visit with people, and we have wonderful raffle and auction items, and it's a great event.
I can hear so many of you, Curtis, I'm hungry. I know. I know. Me too. A Taste That Matters. And so the Fight Hunger 5K, then Taste That Matters, and the August event one more time was?
The Hunger Scramble.
The Hunger Scramble. And that's
it's
the one
that's
open
golf
for golfers.
Outing.
Okay.
Absolutely. And if I could just once again share our website, it's solvehungertoday.org. And you can get information about all the things that we've talked about today. And one other thing I wanted to mention is that we do have a mobile market coming up on April 25th. And that is at Our Lady of Mercy Church from 4:30 to 6. So whether you need groceries or you have a neighbor or a friend or a family member, please share that with them.
Okay. So if we can ever be out there and support you ladies or the food bank and showcase, take some video or anything, please feel free to let us know. Of course, we know that there's families there and everything, so we wouldn't want to just assume or show anything. But if you ever could benefit from any of this being like a live event, let us know. We'd be happy to come support what's going on out there. So the time is 9:25 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. So as we start to land the plane, the show ends on a positive note. So I'd like from each of you ladies, what's your message today for the folks in Aurora about hunger and everything we're talking about? What's your message to the listeners?
Sure.
I'm happy.
Yeah, go ahead.
My message would be that there is enough food. We are so blessed to have the donations from manufacturers, grocers, and farmers that we can then get out to those who need it. So I would say that's the message, that we're here and we're happy to help. And I'm so grateful to people like Caroline and Wintrust, who are such great partners to the food bank.
Absolutely.
And I would just say the food bank, you asked about the future. The food bank is always evolving. They're on the forefront of so many different ways to connect with our neighbors who need food. And, a lot of us during the pandemic got used to ordering our groceries or, doing drive-by pickup and those kind of things. In addition to the convenience factor, it also does help people that maybe are feeling a barrier of raising their hand and asking for help. And so I just credit the food bank so much for being really innovative and thoughtful and making sure that they're available and meeting people where they are. So I look forward to continuing to work with them.
Absolutely. I support the work that both organizations are doing. I think this is great, and we will always have a spot on Good Morning Aurora for the Northern Illinois Food Bank and everything that you ladies are doing. So get ready to see more of the information that you heard about here today, going on all year. And don't forget that the Fight Hunger 5K, A Taste That Matters, and the Hunger Scramble as well for all you golfers. Also, if you are interested and motivated, the Executive Women's Council could be just the organization for you. Right now, we'd like to say thank you very much to Carolyn and Gina for coming on our show. The links will be in the description for the Northern Illinois Food Bank, how you can get more information, and follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Right now, we're going to do that thing, and we're going to switch it up today, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to go to our outro roll, some nice go-away footage, Alex, and then we will take it to Buenos Dias, Aurora. We will see you guys tomorrow with more news, more weather, and the very best of Aurora. Take care of yourself and each other.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Imagine what's possible when a